welcome to another episode of the Bubbs on Sports podcast. Today is Monday, October 17th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Monday, October 17th here today, coming off another big night, big weekend, I should say, in the world of sports as the Jets and Giants both get some big victories. Yankees get a big win last night to force a Game 5 tonight. A little less than 2 hours out. We're about an hour and a half out from the Yankees-Guardians first pitch, 7:07 Eastern. Really fired up. Tonight's night, Game 5, Jammo on the mound. He's got to go out there and dominate. I shouldn't completely say that. I mean, he doesn't have to go out there and throw. If the offense does what they've done all year against Savali, the Guardians pitcher tonight, you'd assume he can go out there, give you 5 innings of 2-run ball, and you'd be okay with it, and you'll be happy about it. But he does need to give you some length because, again, you don't fully trust this bullpen. As much as you think that the day off tomorrow is going to help. You really wonder. You don't want to drain the bullpen too much going into the Houston series if, in fact, we do win tonight. So Tyone does need to give you some length. He really does because he needs to go out there and give you 6-7 innings, 5 at the least. It can't be anything shorter than that. You don't want to ask 5 innings out of your bullpen for a bullpen that's kind of been iffy this year. And it'll be interesting to see how they piece it together. They got to get runs early. They got to get on Savali early because he's a guy that we've done well against this year all season. So you get to him early, you give Tyone a lead. It really helps you the rest of the game, not only with bullpen management, but maybe you can stretch Tyone a little bit, not have to worry about, a tough spot in a game or, a one-run game and try to stretch him too much and all of a sudden he makes a mistake that hurts the team. You don't have to worry about that if you get a lead early on. So it'll be interesting to see how it is. Going to try to keep this quick today, though. Got right to the Yankees. We'll get to the Jets as well here. We'll get to the NFL, all that good stuff. Going to try to keep it around 20 minutes just due to timing. Got to get this uploaded. Yankee game in less than 2 hours. So just scheduling-wise, going to be a little bit of a quicker one. Going to try to keep it within the 20 to 25 minute range. Over the weekend, to get to my NFL game picks, I went 7-6 this weekend. I got a above 500 record for right now. If I get tonight's pick correct, then I will be above 500 for the week completely. I'll go 8-6, but I'm 7-6 right now. So we'll see how it plays out tonight. And 53-40 overall. Obviously, 4 teams on a bye week, so that's 2 less games. So that's why my record's only 14 games, not 16 games. So 7-6 this week, but looking to go 8-6 tonight and go to 54-40 overall in the season. So record's pretty good right now. Not great, not phenomenal. That 5-11 week really hurt me week 3. But 13 games above 500. Look for 14 tonight. Going pretty good for 6 weeks through the season. All right, so with all that being said, let's get into it here. We're going to get to the NFL and the Giants here, but I got to start with the Jets. It's Victory Monday. Happy Victory Monday to all those Jet fans out there. Hopefully you all are enjoying it as much as I am. I mean, great, Victory Mondays are awesome. You hear all the praise. You get up in the morning after a win. It just makes your Mondays a lot better, and it's just a great feeling coming off a win. But I'll start with this. What a time it is to be a New York Jet fan. I mean, really. It's hard to explain at times what it feels like. Like this feeling right now we haven't had in such a long time. It is an excellent feeling. It is a great feeling. But what a time to be a New York Jet fan as they go on the road yesterday and get the victory over the Green Bay Packers 27-10 to get to 4-2 on the year and more importantly 3 straight wins. We are now 3-0 on the road this season. Phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. Breece Hall had another massive game yesterday where he just steps up in a big way. The offense, was struggling early on, found a rhythm. Coaching staff making adjustments at halftime. All these things we're seeing. Defense, Quinnen Williams, all these great things. This New York Jets team is legit. And I don't want to hear otherwise. This New York Jets team, the 2022 New York Jets, led by Robert Saleh, who has done a phenomenal job so far this season after the first couple weeks of the season. I was crushing them. Jets fans were crushing them. The receipts comments, all that stuff. But we have really responded to everything he has said. The receipts comment has now become kind of now has actually become a thing where every time we win, it's finding all the doubters and proving them wrong. It's the us against the world mentality. It's almost like this team in the same breath though still believes they should win. Still believes they should win. They expect to win. All of these great things. I mean, we haven't seen this in such a long time. Jets football that has been so good, and all the suffering, all the pain makes this success right now that much sweeter and that much greater, because this is a young football team on the rise that is playing so well right now. And you could make the argument, not really an argument, it shows, you could really say that they haven't even hit their full potential, because Zach Wilson hasn't really had that breakout game yet, or that breakout stretch where he's fully broken out and just week by week having good performances. Against the Steelers, he did well, led the comeback. Against Miami, he didn't need to do much. Yesterday, didn't need to do a ton because of Breece Hall, but early in the first half was struggling a little bit, right? But he did what he needed to do. And the biggest thing I could say about Zach Wilson is, everybody wants to look at the box score and say, 10 of 18, he's not loading up the yards, 110 yards, all that stuff. What the biggest thing is, it's been turnover-free football. That's my biggest thing. Last year in games like this, he tried to force things. He kind of worried about his stats a little too much last year, which is normal for a rookie in terms of, he's like, oh gosh, we're losing or something, or I don't have a touchdown yet, I got to start forcing it. That's what he would do last year as a rookie. He doesn't do that anymore. He's grown. He's a lot more knowledge. He's got a lot more knowledge, knows the game a lot more, knows what to expect in terms of speed of the game and what he needs to do play in and play out. And that's been my biggest thing, is he's limited those turnovers, and he's taken what the defense has given him. And let's be real here. When you have a running back tandem as good as Breece Hall and Michael Carter are, you don't need to go out there and pass for 300 yards a game. You don't need to. Sure, there might be games where you have to, but at this moment, the Jets don't need him to. And you have to believe and have to have trust in Wilson that when they need him to step up in that moment, similar to what he did in Pittsburgh, he is capable and he can do it. But what a great time. What a great start to the season. We're 4-2. And something else I want to say, this team's got spunk. It's got a little bit of that energy, that little bit of that little cockiness. They're not, I don't want to use the word, cockiness is not a bad word to use, because I still believe this, it's 50-50, because I still believe this team does have that us against the world mentality where it's like, everybody's downing us. We want to go out there and prove them wrong. It's not like, we're the best team ever. We're great. We don't care who we're playing. Or they have that little bit of that feeling of we can beat anybody, but also that feeling of, we want to prove everybody wrong. We don't, if you get what I'm saying. But they have that little spark to them where they are a little cocky. They bring a little juice. And that's all the young guys. They bring a little bit of that, a little bit of the cockiness, the trash talking, all that stuff. When's the last time we could say that about a New York Jets team? When's the last time? I mean, we've never been able to say that about a team. Where a team was, scoring touchdowns, dancing, doing the Lambeau leap. I mean, how about Sauce Gardner running off the field with the cheese on his head? That was great. That was awesome. Running off the field with the cheese on his head, with the cheese head. And then later that night, he was running a Twitch stream playing video games, and he got the cheese in his setup. Had the cheese on his live stream. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, when was the last time we've had a group of players, a roster, that has that energy, has that tenacity, and that little bit of that spunk? When's the last time? Probably going all the way back to the Rex Ryan days. And you want to know what's so great about it all? And I want to say this again. Young. They are all young. All young. This isn't, 30-plus-year-old Josh McCown. This isn't 30-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're not watching Joe Flacco do this like we saw at the beginning of the year. This is led by a second-year quarterback, rookie running back. We have a rookie receiver, a second-year running back. You look at the defensive side of the ball, Quinnen Williams is still, entering the prime of his career. And I want to talk about Quinnen Williams. I mean, man, oh man, he has to be in the conversation right now for Defensive Player of the Year. He has to be. There's no other way to put it. Quinn Williams has to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. And call me crazy, call me biased, come at me in the comments. I don't care. He's been a top 10, top 7 player in the NFL this year. He has been. He's been a top 10 player in the NFL this year. No other way to put it. He's been a top 3 defensive player. And I think he's been a top 10 overall player in the NFL. Maybe it is a little bit of a stretch, but you look at the numbers, you look what he did yesterday on the road. I mean, he's lighting it up, and it's a contract year. Give him his money. Give the man his money. But this all starts at the top. Credit to Douglas, credit to Saleh. And again, it's 6 weeks into the season. We didn't just win the Super Bowl. There's a lot of football left to be played, which is exciting because, for the first time in a long time, I can't tell you the amount of times where we're sitting in October 1-5, or even the opposite at 2-4, or even worse, 1-5, the gay 0-6, and we were just waiting for the season to be over, right? Like now we're excited that we don't. It's like we don't want we just want this to continue, right? Like you look forward to Sunday. You look forward to watching Jets football. When's the last time we could say that? Not much. It's been a very long time. The last time we could really truly say it was that 1 year under Todd Bowles, but even then we all knew that was a veteran team that obviously wasn't the future, but in the heat of the moment we were all rooting for it. We all wanted to see them make the postseason. Obviously we don't need to talk about how that season ended, but really a consistent run like this we haven't seen since Rex Ryan. And even Rex Ryan's team had a good mix there as well, and it's just great. It's awesome. But back to my point, to 6 weeks in the season, we're talking about playoffs. That's crazy. We're talking about playoffs in October. Usually, it's the word that starts with the D, the draft. Usually in October, we're talking about the draft. Even sometimes, if you start out 0-3 in September, you're talking about the draft even sometimes in September. Instead, we're the 3rd seed in the AFC right now. If the season would end right now, we'd be in the playoffs. We'd be preparing for a playoff game right now. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's what's so crazy about this all. I mean, the Jets are going around the league. Sauce Gardner running around with the cheese on his head is making headlines. I mean, that was the talk of the NFL today, was Sauce running around with the cheese on his head. And another thing, too, is this is a statement win, too. Everybody keeps talking about, you've played bad quarterbacks. You can't say that about this week. You went into Lambeau, a tough environment. Rodgers coming off a loss is unbelievable at home. It's crazy, especially Matt LaFleur. Rodgers, MVP, back-to-back, Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. I don't have to go down the list. We'll be here for a while to read all the things Aaron Rodgers has done throughout his career, and the Jets went into Lambeau yesterday and got the job done. Again, when's the last time we could say that? Not about the Packers just beating them, because we don't play them a ton, obviously, being in the NFC, but them being in the NFC. But when's the last time we went on the road and beat a truly just a good, hard, just a good, tough opponent on the road? I don't care. I understand, Packers aren't quite what they used to be. It's on the road in Lambeau. It's against Rodgers. That is an excellent, excellent victory. So, I mean, what a time. You go to the Giants. Great win for them as well. You have the interception late. You then score the touchdown. You get another turnover, score again. I'll tell you this about the Giants, and listen to Tiki and Tierney today on WFAN, who does a great job, and the legendary Joe B. Beningo, who obviously was at WFN for so many years, was with Evan, Joe and Evan and all that stuff, and does a great job, in his spots that he comes on with Tiki and Tierney. And he was saying today, you look at the Jets and the Giants. The Jets, and this isn't a knock on the Giants, this is more of a credit to Dable. The Jets are more talented than the Giants. The Jets have one of the more talented rosters in the AFC. It's not crazy to say. They have the 3rd best record in the AFC. I mean, again, it's hard to wrap your head around. Again, I get it, because so many times we're talking about the Jets being not the 3rd best team in the league, mostly the 3rd worst team in the league. That's usually how it's been, but that's why it's hard to wrap your head around sometimes. But they have a legit roster, and it's all young, and it's all exciting, right? The Giants, they don't have a ton of talent on the roster. They don't, but it's the coaching. And I mean, Dable, week in and week out, I mean, he's got to be in the conversation right now for Coach of the Year. He has to be. He has to be. I mean, if he's not the front runner, I'll tell you this. Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner got to be the front runners for offense and defensive rookie of the year. And Quinton Williams has got to be the front runner right now for defensive player of the year. And for coach of the year, it's got to be Brian Daboll. It has to be. Saleh, definitely you put in the mix there, but it has to be Daboll. He has to be the front runner right now. Maybe I'm forgetting a coach that's out there. I mean, I guess you maybe could say Nick Sirianni, the Eagles, but we didn't expect, I don't think, 6-0 start, but we did expect them to be good. And we thought the Giants this year would be a 5-6 win team, 7-win team at best maybe, a 6-7 win team at best, probably hover around 5 wins. They're at 5 wins right now. I mean, the Giants have one more win than they had all last year, 6 weeks through the season. The Jets tied their win total from last year, 6 weeks into the season. I mean, New York football is 14-4. I'll rattle off stats all day. This is great. This is great. And you got the Yankees on tonight, Game 5 of the ALDS. They win tonight. They go on to the ALCS. What a time to be a New York sports fan. It really is. And I go back to something else that Tiki and Tierney, they said today. Tierney did. He was saying how, like, New York sports, we're entering a time where New York sports have always been, there was times where it's been really good, the 90s, Yankees, Knicks, even the Jets, later 90s with Parcells and all that stuff, all those teams, Giants obviously having success back then as well with the LT days and all that stuff. That was like the golden age, all those teams doing well. The Rangers, right, in the 90s as well, last time, they won a cup and all that stuff, Mark Messier, all that great stuff, right? We all know that. But we are entering an age now where Rangers are Stanley Cup champions, so maybe I'm foreshadowing, but the Rangers are Stanley Cup contenders. The Yankees are right now in the playoffs. The Mets are going to be back. I mean, they're Steve Cohen's going to spend some money this offseason. He's, they're going to be fine. Right? The Yankee or the you even want to count the Buffalo Bills. You need to talk about the Sabres. You even want to go up to Buffalo. Sabres are going to be better. They're improving as well. You go to the Jets. I mean, they look legit. Giants have their coach. They look legit. I mean, we haven't reached championships yet, but it's looking like we're going down that path where maybe the 2020s here can be a big time for New York sports. I know, again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but you got to take it day by day, game by game. Tonight, you just got to watch the Yankees and see what happens there. But it's a great time. It really is, and it's just so refreshing. It really is. The amount of years of watching losing football. I mean, I have a Jet fan. I'm too young to remember. I remember the late Rex Ryan years. I remember late some parts of it vividly. I remember Bowles' first season from game 1 all the way to the final week of the season. Vividly, I remember that 10-6 year, and from now on. I remember parts of the Rex Ryan season era, but I don't remember any of the playoff games. I don't remember any of those. So I've never witnessed playoffs. So to make the playoffs, if this Jet team makes the playoffs, that'd be awesome. I mean, that would just be phenomenal. I mean, you go into the year and you say 7-8 wins, good. If this Jet team can win, I mean, again, don't want to get too into myself, but it's a winnable game coming up against the Broncos. That's winnable, and the Patriots are winnable as well. And that's at home. Broncos are on the road. Patriots at home. You could be 6-2 going to that Bills game, right? The Bills are going to be tough, but even if you don't win that game, you're 6-3 going to the bye weekend, and you come out and you play New England again, and in Chicago, 2 winnable games. It is not crazy to say the Jets going into that game against Minnesota, another tough road game that will be, that they could be 8-3. It really is. It's not crazy to say. It really isn't. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but you get a win against Broncos. You get a win against New England. Bills are going to be tough. I'll tell you that. 6-3, but then you get 8-3 out of the bye week. It's not crazy to say 11 weeks into the season for the Jets, 11 games in, they could be 8-3. It's really not. Look at the schedule. Look at the way they're playing. Again, don't want to get too ahead of myself. It's a week-by-week league, but things are really looking up right now for the Jets, and it's just things are just. It's just like it's this right now. We're here. We're just waiting to, like we're here. It's like, boom. You keep winning. We're just gonna right up there, and that's what's so exciting. I mean, it really is. You talk about a possible 8-win team with 5-6 games left. I mean, you could get to 10. I'm getting a little maybe too greedy now, but I mean, you got to enjoy it. You got to take it week by week. But And that's something the Jets team has done very well. In years, many other past Jet teams, they either get caught looking ahead, they win a big game, and then they sleepwalk into the next game and all that stuff. That's not this Jet team. We have a 3-game win streak. Big win against Pittsburgh, came at home, got the job done. Big home game. Could have easily been a trap game, too, because you have Denver is an extremely beatable opponent. Denver, I think, is more beatable than Miami and Green Bay. I think Miami and Green Bay are both better than Denver. I really do. Pittsburgh, Denver could probably beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I know they beat Tampa, but they're a mess with their whole quarterback. Trubisky, Pickett, neither. I know Trubisky let to come back. I get that, but they're not very good. Both those teams aren't good. You could make the argument Denver is better than Pittsburgh. You really could. Maybe Denver has just the edge just because their running game's a little bit better. I know Javonte Williams is out, but I don't know. They're two of them aren't great. Denver's a very winnable game. Very winnable. It really is. You look at the Denver Broncos. Now, again, it's a tough place to play. They have a good defense. They are missing some pieces. But it's a tough place to play because it's loud and the high altitude. Two things Denver will always have on you. Always will have the high altitude, and that crowd, no matter the record, is always packed. They always get a big crowd. But the Jets faced a big crowd in Lambeau this week and handled it perfectly fine. So nothing seems to phase this Jet team. It really doesn't. It's a fun team. It's an exciting team. It's just a fun time. It really is. And the Giants fans, too. Everybody should be ecstatic right now. I can't tell you the amount of times we talk about in years past, we'd be 6 weeks into the season, instead of a 14-4 record, Jets and Bills would be a combined 4-14 or something. Or we'd be talking about the Jets right now. Instead of them being a combined 9-3, they'd be a combined 3-9. And we were all making fun of them. But that's not the case now. Times are turning, and it seems to be turning for good, with both these teams looking real legit. All right, so that's what I got there. Rest of the NFL, obviously some big games. Bills over the Chiefs, and obviously some other really good games as well. Bengals over the Saints. Falcons get the upset over the Niners. Eagles hold off the Cowboys to get to 6-0. So that continues on. They're continuing to roll. So a lot of positives there and a lot of exciting games this week. As for baseball tonight, you got the Yankees Guardians, like I mentioned. Aaron Savali, Tyone on the mound, 7:07 Eastern. Game 5. Not much else I got to say. Win or go home. That's about the gist. That's basically the gist of it. All right, so as for fantasy football, it was a rough week. So I'm going to lose in, most likely, I'm going to lose in at least 2 leagues. I'm definitely losing in 2 leagues. I have a chance to win in 2 leagues. So one of my leagues right now that I'm winning in, it is 72-79, but I have Jerry Jeudy tonight. So I just need Jeudy. My opponent's done. I need Jeudy to get me 8 points. He should be able to do that. I know their offense isn't good, but I would expect Jeudy to do that. He had 8 points last week, 15-20. I'd expect him to do it. Hopefully he does. I just need him to get me 8 points. My one league I'm losing right now, and it's awful, 128-30. So I'm actually losing almost by 100. 98 points I'm losing by right now. He's got nobody left. I've got Eckler, Sutton, and Everett. So I need Eckler, Sutton, and Everett to get me 99 points in order to win. Which is it's not mathematically, it's not impossible. And we would have to take Eckler probably having a 30-point day. Everett would have to have like a 10, 15 points, which would be to get to like 55, and then you need 60 or it'd be tough. You need Eckler Eckler needs to get me like 30, which would get me to 50 or 60, and then I would need I'm losing by almost 100. So Eckler is gonna need to get me like 30. Sutton's gonna need to get me like 30, and Everett's gonna need to get me 30. Or Sutton's going to need like a Tyreek Hill game from a year ago or 2 years ago where he had like 58 points. And, Everett gets like 19, 20 points. That's at it's like 80. And then Sutton, it's not going to happen. But, you can only brainstorm, I guess. But that league's going down too. But I'll probably get about 60 points tonight. I'll probably get about 30 from them. Eckler, I could see having like 15. Sutton might have like 10, 25. And then maybe Everett has like 8, 9 maybe. Something around there. It's like 33, 34-ish. So, make the loss a little less ugly. One of the leagues I'm done. I got nobody left. They're winning, and they've still got Mike Williams. So unless if he fumbles like 10 times, I'm done there. And like I said, my other league, I currently have a 51% chance of winning. He has Mike Boone and Austin Eckler. So I'm actually kind of pulling for Eckler not to have a big game because it's more of a real possibility that Eckler, I don't want Eckler really to have a big game. That league that I'm losing by 98 in, I don't want him to go off for like 40 because that means I lose in this league. This league, also, let's face the fact. Let's face the point. I don't want Eckler to go off for 30, Sutton and Everett to do nothing. That means nothing for me in another league. I only lose by 60 instead of 90. This, however, I'm winning right now by 21 or 27. So Eckler, I need to have Eckler. I need Eckler to 27 points I'm winning by. So Eckler, he can get 20. Boone can't get any more. Mike Boone, I don't think. He might have a pretty good game, but I don't know if he'll have a massive game. I don't know if they'll go to the run game as much. They might, but it's interesting. And Wentz being out is big, but Dak comes back. So a lot of leagues picked up Wentz, including myself, picked up Wentz because Dak was out. So, it stinks to see, obviously, anybody get hurt, but it is perfect timing. Dak's coming back, Wentz goes out, so it's much better that happens now than Dak goes out, you pick up Wentz, and he goes out like that week. So it'll be interesting, but enjoy the game tonight. By the way, didn't even do my game pick. I'm taking the Chargers tonight. I'm taking them big as well at home. I think, I know they're without Keenan Allen, and their offense hasn't quite been the same. But I'm taking the Chargers tonight. They're 4-point favorites, 3-2. Broncos 2-3. Over under set at 45.5, 8:15 Eastern, ESPN. 85% of people in the Chargers are going to win this game. I'm taking the Chargers at home, SoFi Stadium. Give me the Chargers 31-13. I'll take the under on the over-under of 45.5. And then Chargers get the big win at home to get to 4-2 on the season. And that will do it for the podcast here today. As always, hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for listening.